that they can hear the cast. So hopefully they'll respond and just be sure. My meters look like they're doing things, so that it should be good. The cool part is we get to do intros all over again, and there's nothing wrong because that is an excellent way to tell folks about the rewrite ability that is going to be present in this game. so,
Strategic. Well
strategic.
played. Well played, director.
See all of it up here. So yeah, I'll reintroduce myself as only those agents qualified here could hear me.
Skip is saying no sound.
Are we muted, Skip? Did you mute us? No, just kidding. But okay, Skip's got sound now. That's fantastic. We want to make sure that Skip can hear. He's a wonderful supporter of the old ways and also a cast member. So at the top, my name is Michael Diamond. Tonight I will be your director. My pronouns are he, him, and I get to, as you can already tell, adjust on the fly to things happening on stream. So totally a new overlay tonight, and so didn't properly prepare OBS in the way it needed to, and so I had to punch and kick it and make sure that it did what I needed to. So I am going to get out of the way, but before I do, I want to thank you for listening and watching and hopefully putting up with our hijinks and shenanigans. The purpose of the show is for us to have maximum game fun as we play through They Came From Classified, which is from Onyx Path Publishing. And our story tonight is set in the 70s, which is why we have such a colorful background. So let's do that again and go back through introductions to my right.
Hey y'all, this is Rina. My pronouns are they, them, and I will be playing Honey Goodbody. Pronouns she, they, the provocateur, and my concept is the mix with all the tricks.
Fabulous. Next to Rina.
Hi, this is Morgan, and I'm playing Penetration. Our pronouns are she, her, and Penny's concept is Hell on Wheels Betty. And looking forward tonight. And I am a cast member on the Old Ways podcast.
Indeed you are.
And so is Rina.
Indeed they are. Next to Morgan.
Oh my gosh, I got double muted. Oh my God, sorry, I'm now using Zoom on the web browser and my world has exploded. Hi, I'm a bunny. She and her they emigrate from me. I'm playing Marion Luckyfoot, who is a Canadian detective and a spy. I am a doofus VTuber. Yeah, it's great. I'm really excited to be here. I really adore all of the streams here. I get to appear in them on occasion, and it's been a while. So I'm glad that I can put my dorky face back on this channel.
Yes,
Can't get rid of me.
We love your dorky face. It has a home here as far as I'm concerned, and that's good because I'm the person in charge. And last, most certainly not least.
Hi, I'm Pesto Mystic, and tonight I'll be playing You Indeed. Surely, you indeed. My archetype is operative, and my concept is super spy. So to me, that translates into being able to kill a bunch of people. This would be great.
Yeah, I love it. So just as a general overview for those in the watching and viewing audience, and those of you who might be listening thereafter, this game is set in the 70s. We're going to sort of keep it in a vague period within the 70s. It takes place within the decade. It takes place basically between shag carpeting and disco. I think really that's like where we're going to land at tonight. Everything is mostly brown except when it's yellow. And then there are some other strange dancing. There's strange cat dances that go on. It's immaterial to our story today, but it's important that you know that does happen. So I'm going to set the scene specifically to an office inside a building, one which is completely and utterly nondescript. Why that's important is because our agents are inside this building and they are meeting with their director. Their director's name is Director Woodbridge. And they've assembled these powerful and, of course, socially careful agents because they've come under the watchful gaze of an organization, a fascist organization called C.L.A.W. And as the Manila dossier hits the table, the director turns to you, honey, and says, Have you ever heard of quantum fire?
Oh, it sounds dangerous. Tell me more.
It's quite dangerous. It's one of the most explosive materials that's been created on the Earth. And it's my understanding that C.L.A.W is trying to get their, well, paws on it. How do you feel
Well,
about
we can't
Italy?
have that. Italy.
Yes.
Oh, one of my favorite places. The food, the wine, the women.
Hmm. He turns and looks over towards Marion and says, "We need the four of you on this case immediately. It's an emergency. Clear all of your other plans, including the weekend ones. We're sending you to Rome, all four of you. And you're going to do a little careful insertion into a garden party. The dossier is there. It'll explain everything." He sits back in his chair and reaches for a pipe, which he doesn't light, but yet just carefully prepares.
Sounds like a fun road trip then.
Mm. It's going to be a parachuting experiment, actually. He nods.
Sounds like a good parachute trip then.
Quantum fire is a chemical compound, a volatile one, that when mixed together is extremely explosive, the dossier goes on. A single two of it could cause a catastrophic disaster across the entire world. Worse yet, it's hard to detect. And because of its relation to something our division scientists are calling the quantum universe. What we have been able to determine is that the Claw recently took over a castle about 20 kilometers north of Rome. This castle is a timeless beauty. It's a historical landmark, but somehow they've managed to take it over. And they're using it as a front for a ton of their business operations. So they're having to throw a summer party. And in doing so, they're going to bring in some very high powered clientele who all want to purchase said quantum fire. We must prevent that from happening, and we have to secure it. And so you'll need to gear up and make sure that you have everything that you need. We'll have some satellites to be able to give you some intelligence, but you're all going to be very much needed in your own special way. You'll leave at once, of course.
Right away.
Groovy.
So
Excellent.
the agents would all know that Division 8 has transportation services. They have their own quartermasters. They have people that put together all of the things that you need, gear and equipment wise. What I don't want to do is bog the story down with equipment. But what I am going to say is that each agent has two devices on them. These devices could be just about anything they can imagine within reason that would be actionable in sort of that spy gear sense. And there'll be pieces that you can call on throughout game to give yourself bonuses or reduce complications as we go through the dice system. Okay. What you're also going to get is a one-way trip on an airplane that will go over said location and parachute you in, unless anybody else has a keen idea on how else to get to there.
I think that sounds like a great plan.
I assume the
Parachuting sounds
submarine's
like the
out of
fun
order today.
answer.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but what if we took the submarine and we launched ourselves out of an intercontinental ballistic missile that we then parachuted down off of? They would never expect that.
We do it all the time too. So
There are other options for travel. So you could certainly fly to Rome and then collect vehicles and drive overland. 20 kilometers is not very far. It would allow you a method of getting to the location and doing some recon. But the Division 8 likes to sort of be a little bit over the top with basically everything. And so the idea of firing you out of a perfectly good aircraft is sort of kind of baseline for them.
I already have monogrammed goggles just for this occasion.
Yes, of course. You'll be calling them your Italian goggles after this operation. They load you onto the plane, which is probably an older British plane. And not that Division 8's from Britain, or really any nation for that matter, because your job protecting the world supersedes any one specific nation state. It's that important. You're that critical. You don't really even answer to the UN, at least as far as you know. In fact, you've never really had to answer to anyone, which is sort of nice. And yet, there are always reviews and there's always paperwork for some reason. So I think it would be fun, and all best sentences start out like that. I think it would be fun if we all had an introductory role to the dice system here. And in doing so, I am going to ask my agents to make a athletics and
Oh no.
yes, an athletics and dexterity roll, or depending upon what they would like, a athletics and I'll say cunning, because I do think you could be sort of smart or cunning enough. And again, as we play through, just so the audience knows, as director, I am 100% open to your interpretation of what you think would be best. So if you think that there's a way for you to be perhaps alluring enough to make the parachute open, I'm open to that. You'll have to
Hmm.
explain it, but that's okay.
I seduce the parachute.
Well, it certainly opens pretty well early.
Hmm. Don't normally have that problem.
It happens.
One success.
Okay. Yeah, again, so for the rolling method for those in the audience, it's important to understand they're going to roll d10s, and then 8s, 9s are successes, or single successes, and then 10s when they rolled, as long as there's no other ones, are 2. And so that's sort of the dice system we're playing with this evening.
I got 4 successes.
That's a lot. Okay, so that's a perfect example, but we'll continue. Okay, so
I got 1, and I feel like I need to point out that almost every single other dice rolled a 1.
oh
Oh
I
no.
have 4 1s, a 5, and an 8. I clutched the hell out of
yes,
this. If I
yes,
didn't have that 8, I'd be dead.
you would
Be
be.
rolling a new character.
Well, I mean, maybe, but that is a lot of
I
ones.
mean, it would be interesting.
It would be. So stunts are something. They're like stunts in this game are something that can be purchased with additional successes. So right now, only one material success was necessary. So both Pesto and Morgan's character have a glut of successes that they could utilize. And so I'm going to offer them the ability to buy a stunt, meaning they could assist another character. They could make themselves look super cool while they did it. Anything that they'd like to do, they could spend those additional successes on.
Oh boy, the world is such a pearl right now.
Uh-huh. Totally.
Oh no. Am I able to bank successes?
You're not in this
Okay.
case. Not and banking dice is something that's also available in this system, story pass system. But it's only done in they came from games via using quips. And so when you have that sort of snazzy line, you can say those as part of a dice roll, and provided you quip correctly, I will give you extra dice. Those dice you can totally bank up to 5 and use them later. So, for example, the operative, you could purchase a very simple gymnastics portion, meaning you land without any incident, and maybe you make it look ultra cool, that sort of thing.
Sure.
Okay.
There's a part of me. I'm curious what's happening with Lucky Foot right now. Do they or even Honey? Like, do they look like they're struggling? Like, I should be a pal and go help them out.
It's not that they look like they're struggling. They are struggling. There's a lot of
Oh,
screaming on the way down from some of them.
That's normal.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, especially given maybe given one of them who's generated an awful lot of ones, but yet still has a material success, there might be a little bit more flailing. But I'll leave that up to them to give us the narrative.
Oh no, Marion is very, very flailing. She is a big fan of the thrill, like conceptually,
Hmm.
but not in practice. So she was real hyped until the moment her feet left the plane, and she's been screaming ever since.
I love it.
okay. I kind of want to do like the opening to the Power Rangers movie then with Lucky Foot, just like grab their hand and just like fly in the air and do like air gymnastics a little bit to make us both land
God.
really cool.
Yeah. This serves to make you just probably slightly ill. Um, Maybe just a little bit, because there's a lot of tumbling and moving around in the air, and you were flying at, a pretty high altitude. You get a really great view of Rome on the way down. Um, but barring any issues or any decisions for for you to change course, the two of you will land just fine. Morgan, did you have anything specific you wanted your character to do on the way down?
Um, Actually, I could use my adventurer stunt of simple. Says I blew on these dice for you. It's over to Honey because you can give them to an ally,
Mm-hmm.
and help them land. It will help them land gracefully instead of maybe tumbling. I wouldn't want them to get their outfit dirty.
No, not
Can't have that.
No, because
not one bit.
she looks good in it.
Indeed, they do. So you all land, some more gracefully than others, but you get the parachutes put away, and you realize that you're probably about 7 or so kilometers. You've landed in a small opening in what is really a larger forested spot that's outside this castle. So when I say castle, what I don't want you to think of is a English castle, because that's not what this looks like. It is a big structure, but it's much more Italian in its flair, and it was built in the 1500s rather than like the 1100s. And so it is slightly more modern in the sense that some of the spaces here probably reflect a little bit more up to date attitudes than, like wood Mott and Bailey walls or something like that. This is a very fancy place. So I'd love the agents to tell me how they're going to approach. You have parachuted in mostly in the evening hours, right? The party is supposed to be at night, and on the way in, you likely saw car traffic here and there that was coming to the castle. So, what does the approach look like? And will anyone read the dossier?
So I feel the answer to that is there was an attempt to read the dossier mid parachute,
Mm-hmm.
and now Marion's papers are possibly slightly scattered, so she's collected them to eventually then read the dossier.
Right. Okay. So the estate borders one of Europe's most prestigious golf courses and features a helipad and helicopter landings. You would have also been able to see the helipad from the air. The property is said to boast a fascinating series of Etruscan caves, which is where the division believes quantum fire might be being kept, maybe underground. The main body of the castle spans 5 separate levels. The principal reception areas are located on the ground and first floor. On the ground floor, it's got what you would expect from a castle: spacious halls, a study, a bedroom, 3 bathrooms, a dining room, and a large kitchen that extends to the lower floor. The castle is hosting an event for, as again, rich supporters of Claw's public face. You also see in the dossier that there is a man named Colonel Andrei Rebrov that is in charge. It looks here like he was part of the Red Army until C.L.A.W basically paid for him to be a turncoat. So he's a former Russian military, or sorry, he's a former Soviet military man who decided to see a little bit more of the Western world, especially the money that they pay. There are 8 apartments that are located in 4 perimeter towers on the castle grounds, along with a large villa that's nestled in the woods. In total, the estate comprises 34 bedrooms, 35 bathrooms, because somebody's got to have 2, and it spans about 6,000 square meters. You know that there's also a grotto here. It's listed. It's like some type of installation that's half above ground, half over ground. So it looks like it's like a water park or whirlpool area.
Sounds groovy.
Yeah. Yes. It does. And there is supposed to be a dinner scheduled for this evening. And then there is what is said here on the dossier that there is a event, like an entertainment portion of the party. The division is sure that you can figure out how to get in.
Does it say anything about what the entertainment is supposed to be?
It's singing. It's some band that is entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
What instruments do y'all play?
Gone.
Not ones that are appropriate for mixed company, darling.
I need to
Got it.
learn more, but I understand we're in a time constraint. Sorry, what were you about to say, Luckyfoot?
Don't worry about it. None whatsoever. The only instrument I play is my unending thirst for the truth and justice.
Oh, my heart soars.
Good.
Okay. What do we do? Do I get out a shovel and we find these caves, or what? How's everybody feeling
We could
tonight? What's the vibe?
pretend to be the band. We could get on the guest list. We could pretend we're on the guest list. I could describe myself as this colonel person. There's a pretty good picture here, and just walk in the front door. We got options.
All right, everybody take a chill pill.
Okay. How?
Just. All right. Did everybody pack an evening outfit?
Honey looks affronted that you would even ask such a question.
I'm wearing like
I wrote
jeans and a
down for
t-shirt.
for my equipment. I have a button deployed quick change fancy dress.
I love it.
Kind of
I
jolly.
rip off my shirt and my pants, and underneath is a black evening gown.
Ooh.
Take my hair out of the bun.
Soft music plays in the background. You have no idea where it comes
Yeah.
from.
Yeah, camera's
No.
in slow motion for a minute.
It's like panning in.
I'm going to go off screen and you just hear, and then I come back and I'm just there. I'm in a dress that barely doesn't really fit. It's like too over, it's too big. It's hanging off a little bit, but all right, let's do this.
I spin around and my outfit changes, and I'm in a perfectly tailored tux. Just shows off all my assets, but also really form-fitting, and just absolutely perfection.
Digable.
I guess I should get changed too then.
Yes.
Probably should do that. She will switch into a fancy black dress, which I will have to cycle through all the outfits to change to. So I'm gonna go for this one, and then it's this one. There we go. Fancy black dress confirmed.
Fabulous. Look at that.
We're like twinsies. But you
So
look better.
fancy.
Okay.
Why, thanks. I modeled me myself.
You have acquired proper attire for the evening.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect.
And with said proper attire, what does the approach look like from our agents?
There's
Are we just
explosions in the
pretending we're on the
background,
guest list?
and we're walking up. No.
Do we just distract them and then walk past the guards? And we've been there the whole time.
I love this. I will toss
I
some
love this
grenades
plan.
behind us.
No, no.
I will
You
That's
sure?
a little
please.
too
I-
distracting, Shirley.
Okay. And I have one just in my hand, just ready in case you need it.
Where were you holding that in the dress?
You know exactly where I was holding this in the dress.
You've been working on your kegels, haven't you?
Mwah.
Love it. All right. As you approach sort of this long but well-maintained gravel drive, it's even the gravel here is refined and particular. There are guards, of course, that are helping people not only make sure that they're supposed to be here, but also like park cars and ensure that all of the specifics of the site are kept to where they're supposed to be. Now, you have not seen any symbols that say claw. They don't wear badges per se, but there are uniformed guards here. They wear fairly simple black turtlenecks. They have rifles, and they do have a manner about them. They wear black boots, and that's because black sort of goes with everything, which from a fashion sense makes sense. So I will say that there are 4 guards here in this space. This space being the front door and where people are going through. There are people actively going into the castle when you all arrive. So you do have the ability to mix into some of the crowd, but at some point you will have to deal with getting through those guards or getting past them. How would you all like to do that? If there, you can certainly huddle up and form a plan if you like. There's enough space and time to do that.
No, Shirley. That's for later, darling. Third act. Third act.
It's a surprise tool that will help us later. I do feel trying to convince our way through the guards is probably the best way to do it.
Well, like my mom
mean,
always
how
said,
could they say
you act
no?
like you need to be somewhere. Act like you belong somewhere, and you're supposed to be there.
Radical. And then I trip on my own heel.
Yep.
I'm not convinced it's ever once worked for me. Honey, are you? Do you think you could talk your way past the guards, and then we could just walk past you while they're looking at you?
Darling, I was born for this.
I thought so.
Mm-hmm. I can talk my way into anything.
It's
Okay.
funny, I can
Excellent.
blow anything.
There's a reason we get along.
Yeah, you're both talented. So I wonder, honey, if you might let me know what your approach is when it comes to the guards. As the provocateur, getting people's attention is really like, that is your thing. It's really easy to get people's attention. So how will you deal with these, well, armed guards?
So I walk up the path towards them, and in movie terms, it looks almost slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's some slow jazz playing in the background. I'm adjusting the bow tie on my tux, tossing my hair, which is long and golden, and looking at them. And I have a way of looking at each one, but making them like looking at them both, but making them think I'm looking at each one individually. Like I'm making eye contact just with them, and just a slow wink.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if any of the provocateur's quips might be laid here in use.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yes, I can, as I get close to them and just drag my fingers gently across their shirts, both of them, say, I have a surprise for you.
Okay. So to the audience, to make sure they understand, I have a surprise for you is one of the provocateur's quips. And what Rena has done is set it in the narrative sense, and so I will give them an additional die for the roll they're going to make if they choose to use it. They
Mhm.
don't have to. They could put it, in their pocket and use it for later if they wanted to. They can do it with the same quip and build a stack of dice up to 5 additional dice for any roll. So
Mhm.
I think that that is likely going to be a presence and persuasion roll, because I have a
Mhm.
feeling what you're trying to do is keep their attention. Uh,
Yes.
so there are 2 of them. So I will say that you would have a normal difficulty. The complication being this that there are more than one, and
Okay.
the complication that they are on guard duty. And so
Mhm.
what you'll need is 3 successes.
Ooh. Okay. So I'm gonna use my bonus to give me 8.
Okay.
Okay. I have 2 tens.
Okay. So that's 4.
Mhm.
Any ones that we need to be worried about?
5, 4, 5. Nope. All fours and fives.
Okay. That is helpful. Okay, so it's
Mhm.
4 successes. So you meet the challenge. Plus, you have the ability to utilize a stunt if you want to. You don't have to. There are other
Mhm.
things that you can do with that as well. But you have passed the challenge. If you want to just keep it right there, we can move the narrative forward.
Mhm. We can move forward.
Okay. So you become whatever intoxicant they require. You get a hold of both of their attentions, and they're very interested in who you are and what you're doing here, but not as in an interrogative sense, but more like, where have you been all my life, that sort of thing. The rest of the Division 8 agents see the provocateur begin to, well, utilize their tricks, and it becomes very clear that you all have a clear path forward into the castle, should you want to take it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I walk forward and catch you on the flip side to the guards. Now, walk in.
Okay. You walk in. So now the probably more important part is, um, I will let the successes roll stand, but my question to you, honey, is how are you going to leave the situation?
So I know you boys are busy and you've got so many important guard things to do. So why don't you come find me later when you're off duty and we can have a little bit of fun?
Yes, you get a lot of glazed eyes and a lot of nods. That sounds great.
Hmm. And I blow them a kiss.
Fabulous. You spin on your heel and walk in after the rest of your fellow agents. So inside the castle is a beautifully decorated, um, piece and structure that was built in the early to mid 1500s. Um, None of the old or dusty sense of any of the castle is left. Everything is bright and everything is alive. You can hear music playing from deeper inside the structure, and there are wait staff who are walking around with various plates and trays of both hors d'oeuvres and champagne.
Definitely as we're
Grab a
walking
glass of
through.
champagne, fit in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You betcha. So right now you are in the castle portion of the area. So instead of showing a map, there are 5 distinct areas which you have an opportunity to explore and to investigate. And so you have entered the castle space. And so realistically, the investigation and the location of the quantum fire is up to you at this point. So you tell me where you are going. There are various rooms. There is an entire dinner that is scheduled. You all know that based on the information brief that you got from the dossier. You know that there are rich and powerful people here. You're not sure who exactly, but you know that there are going to be some people who are here to bid on quantum fire. And then you also know that you have an entire castle grounds to investigate and try to locate where other spaces are. So have at it.
I think we should, at least one of us should definitely attend the dinner so we can get an idea of who all's here, so we know we can report back who the donors and the bidders are. There may be some very interesting people among them that Division 8 would like to know about.
I think we should win the bid.
Interesting.
We didn't
Doesn't
bring
have to be us.
money.
We could just find out who's in the running, pretend to be them. Maybe they'll walk us right to it.
Is this like a silent auction thing, or is it a live bid? Okay. I like all of this. I think Division
Maybe
8 would
what I'll-
be... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm the Canadian here. You go ahead.
No.
My character
After
sheet.
you, please. I think Division 8 would be very interested in maybe the technology they have in the armory. So I don't mind checking that out. This castle's
Sounds
got
like a
an
good
armory.
plan.
I'd like to find
Maybe
this
I'll wander
cave.
around and see who's rich and famous and likely a buyer that I can meet and take very good appearance notes on.
So Shirley wants to find the armory.
Henny,
wanna
you were
find-
saying something about the caves?
I was. Yeah. Listen, it has been a long time since I've been spelunking, so I feel like it's right up my alley.
I mean, you handle the parachuting very well. I think it is. You're multi-talented in athletics.
Have you been
Yes,
watching
she
me?
is.
Well, I know. And so, Honey and Marion, you guys are gonna be our social contacts.
I feel it sounds like we all have something that we're planning to go take a look at. We should have a meeting point and time. If we're splitting the party,
Synchronize our watches.
That'll be a quick, like 5, 10, something like that, right?
Meet back in, say, an hour?
Sounds groovy.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Oh, as 70 spies, do we have earpieces? Or we didn't say that, so we can't have them.
You didn't say that, but remember, you have 2 pieces of equipment. Every agent does that. They get to say what it is, and so if that's something the group would collectively like to agree that you have earpieces, you could certainly burn one of those slots to do so.
I don't want to speak. I don't want to speak for the group. I think it would be a good idea to have some sort of communication. But if y'all already have your 2 pieces lined up.
No,
and
I
I would
think
be hesitant to not take a lipstick grappling hook. I think I need to hold on to that, so I might be doomed if I've already sort of secured the dress to have no communications up. And I'm so sorry, honey. I know you're saying something too.
I've got an earpiece that looks like an earring, like a diamond stud earring.
Fabulous.
I love it.
Okay, so we'll just have to remember that for the moment, Marion doesn't have a direct way to contact everyone else, but at least Marion is with or in the somewhat vicinity of Honey, so that way they could play telephone, so to speak. So I'm going to begin with Honey and Marion at the dinner, and so we'll say that our other 2 agents temporarily go off camera at this point, but they don't turn the camera off on Zoom because that would be bad form. So you go off camera for a while, and the camera and its director sort of focus in on this dinner. There is a long, long table in the center of the dining space here. It looks like this was once a hall that has been converted. Everything else has been pulled out of it, furniture, etc. And there's dining tables. There's seats for probably 30. And they're beginning to sit people down at this space. And as you are in the area, it is possible for you to potentially snag a seat at the table. And I wonder if that's something one of you would do preemptively, so that way you could, get to know folks.
Honey definitely would.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Marion would too. If
So
there's seats available and there's food there and also like detectiving to do, but
yeah,
there's food there. Yeah.
yes, yeah, absolutely. There's both things. There's both people and food there, so that is help. You can detect on the both food and the people. That'll be helpful for you. Um, People get sat, probably in relatively quick order. There's one section of the table about center that the seats don't fill immediately, and they really only fill in after a couple of minutes. And the gentleman, and I use that term very loosely, that sits down on them is wearing this, sort of army green style jacket, and he has a beret, and he wears these thick sunglasses, and he's flanked by two other men. Many of the other rich folks sort of, you know, give him a wide berth. They say hello to him. You hear different portions of the table, good evening, Colonel, that sort of thing. And he eventually, after taking in the space, he takes his fork and just taps on the side of the glass. And he says, "Good evening. It is wonderful to see you all here. I know that we're all looking forward to tonight's festivities. I trust that you're all prepared for what must come next. Yes? So drink up and enjoy, and may the highest bidder win." And there's like
Will
a
politely applauds.
polite applause. And then you get showered with food. So, real top shelf stuff. Just oodles and oodles of carefully prepared food at the highest dollar amount you can imagine. It all smells amazing. It all looks amazing. And I wonder if our agents are going to partake out of respect or hunger.
I think Honey is pretending to, but she's a little. mm, You never know what they're going to put in the food at these events. That they could have some sleeping agent or something to make people more pliable and more susceptible to bid high. So sort of pretending to eat, but just slipping things past.
See, that all sounds really reasonable.
Marion is food motivated.
That's okay. Many people are. These things happen. Yeah, the food is just really too good to pass up, to be perfectly honest with you. Marion, it smells just to die for.
Yeah, she's definitely thinking that. She's like, oh, this smells so good. It's to die for. I mean, it might kill me. So I guess we'll find out. Maybe it'll be worth it. Internal monologue.
Honey, the gentleman next to you asks, "Excuse me, how did you get your invitation? I uh, I always like to get to know new faces."
Mm. Well, it was a special hand delivery, darling. The only way I get exclusive invites must be brought to me personally.
Oh, fantastic! They sent a sculpture to my
Mm.
office. This Art Nouveau piece. It was quite something. It looked
Mm.
nice on one of my outer courtyards. Inside, the statue was an invitation, fairly exclusive.
Yes, the three doves that carried mine in the special cage brought by a very mysterious stranger was quite an interesting touch. But yours lasts longer, of course.
True, but there is something about the ability to control animals to get them to do what you like.
Hmm. I find it quite fascinating.
So, Marion, next to you is someone really probably after your own heart. Not in a literal sense, of course. But the gentleman next to you is eating with gusto. Um, he is giving you full cover to be able to eat in any style that you like because he is drawing that sort of attention. He's a heavy set gentleman. He's bald. He wears a gray suit and a gray tie. And he says, uh, "Excuse me, I'm famished. I haven't had anything to eat all day."
I'm not going to judge you. It's the same for me. So much time on the road to get here on time. But it's so good, right? Just going to elbow him playfully.
Yes, yes. Um, he turns from you just momentarily and says, "Excuse me, are you eating that?" And he just continues to sort of pull. The food begins to kind of like orbit this guy. And he says, "The problem here is the portions. Everything is so small. I have to eat so much."
I think that's quite fair. You're right. I mean, you know, they're trying to get us to give them all of our money. They probably don't want to spend too much on it.
Oh, well, if this thing is exactly what they say it is, it's worth its weight in Deutschmarks.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. We'll find out. Hey, well, I wish you luck.
I saw a test, you know.
You saw a test? I only saw documentation. A test sounds so exciting. What happened? She'll like come in to whisper a little bit.
He leans over to you and says, um, the burn rate is 10 times that of thermite.
Oh wow, that is quite promising.
Yes, and a fifth of the general material used. And so at certain manufacturing levels, it could be quite alluring. Especially if
Absolutely.
one
I'm
way.
hopeful we'll get a live demonstration today.
Well, that is what I hope for. He seems to. He looks a little anxious.
Just gonna check in on that. You doing okay?
Yes, him. You know, it's very important that we win this bid. Very important.
Yeah. Hope. Well, I mean, I probably shouldn't cross my fingers for you because we're in theory in competition, but you know.
Well, uh, good luck and to your health. He picks up his champagne glass and
No.
prepares to toast you.
Good luck into your health too. What's your name?
Gerhard.
Gerhard. It's so nice to meet you. Marion.
And you as well. Marion. What industry are you in?
Let's just say agriculture.
Agriculture. Fascinating. I would absolutely love you to roll me some persuasion, detective, because
Sure.
you are
She's got a
100%
little bit
not.
of this.
I mean,
Can I
you're.
claim some cunning?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Sweet.
Yes.
Oh, I have 3.
Ooh.
9 and a 10. Let's go.
Fantastic.
Let's go.
Yeah. Agriculture. That's fascinating. I was wondering, is it possible this this could be used in such a method? I would think that the burn rate and the explosive nature of it would be caustic to to food supplies and other grown material.
Oh, I'm quite certain that it will be. And agriculture is a highly competitive market.
Fascinating. He stares at you.
Just staring at him as well and taking mental notes on his exact proportions and appearance for some reason.
I am in aviation and
Oh,
rocketry.
that does seem like it would have a more direct use case.
Well, Sometimes it is those of us who choose to use um, perhaps solutions in a different way. Um, Not really unorthodox, but people don't think about agriculture in this. But that now my mind is spinning.
I get that a lot, you know. They're always surprised to see me. But, you know, that's part of why I was excited about the prospect of a live test. I'm curious what it's going to do to the soil.
He nods. I would be very curious as well. So if
Well,
we,
hopefully we get to find out, eh?
he nods. Oh, I hope so indeed.
How?
Honey, down the table from you, the colonel is beginning to talk a little bit more openly. You are, I'll say, at short range, so maybe 2 seats away from him or one
Mm-hmm.
of his henchmen. Um, and you're beginning to hear him talk to a man named Eric Weatherspoon. And I'm going to give you a little bit of narrative control, and I'm going to have you tell the audience who Eric Weatherspoon is and why they're important. Why would they be here?
So, Eric Weatherspoon is an American. He is in the weapons manufacturing industry, one of the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
He's a mogul, approaching what would be a billionaire for the 70s. He has factories in multiple locations across the United States, and it's been suspected that he is engaged in arms dealing in certain countries where the United States has a vested interest in certain regimes staying in power.
Mm.
And it's interesting to see him here at this particular gathering.
So the colonel turns to Eric and says, Mr. Weatherspoon, you can't possibly think that I would just so easily sell out to the Americans. And I hope that you don't think that your little problems in the South China Sea are going to become my problems. Weatherspoon, to his credit, is a fairly socially powerful person. And so he laughs off the colonel's suggestion. I'm not here on behalf of the American government. I don't work for the American government. I'm working to make the American government work for me. And like the slime that you feel 2 seats away just makes your skin crawl.
I'm making a mental note of everything that's being said between those two,
Mm-hmm.
but also keeping an eye out if anybody else is reacting to this conversation, if anyone else appears to be listening in or paying attention to it, like anyone who seems interested in what's happening here.
Oh yeah, certainly. So the henchmen to the left and to the right of the colonel really aren't paying a ton of attention. They're sort of watching what everybody else is doing. That's their job. Um, but there are people across the table. There are people down the table that are interested in this interaction. Um, Eric is a mogul, and so a lot of people know him as a public figure. Also, a lot of people blame Weatherspoon and some of the work that his company does for some of the strife in certain, different countries. And so he's definitely a target. Anytime somebody who is super rich decides to interject themselves into the political realm, people suffer. And that's what you've seen. So we'll hold the two of you at dinner there. You'll be eating, or perhaps genuflecting that you are eating, depending upon which agent you are. And I would like to move, if I can, to our friends and other agents, Penny and Shirley, and I would like to know where the two of you have gotten up to.
After you, Penny.
Surely, you must be mistaken, huh? Um, gotta do it once.
Had to.
Had to. Well, I don't think Shirley and I stayed together because Shirley was looking for the armory and I'm looking for a cave to dive into.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You want to go spelunking? We know.
Splunky,
Okay.
splunky.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So I will. I'll begin this pairing then, because y'all are outside dinner, with Shirley. And so, if you could tell me what you are going to get up to.
Okay. Shirley is going to clock one of the henchmen and basically subtly follow them to see if she can find like either the armory or even like a security base that they're heading towards.
Certainly, certainly. Okay, love that for you. So, if you're going to follow someone, then I'm going to say that is likely. Now, you could probably do it a couple of different ways. It depends on how you want to fit in, but I'm certain you could also use your cat-like reflexes to close the distance when they're perhaps touring part of the grounds.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
It does. It
I would like to
does.
do that. How cat-like are we talking here? How close are we talking here? If I'm, because I don't mind doing it from a distance, but if I can get close enough using that particular trademark.
I think that you could probably, if you could roll, if you can get at least a material success, I would let you get to short range
Okay.
and get real close.
Okay. So what does that look like? That roll? Is that
So that would probably for you be athletics, and it's probably going to be either dexterity or cunning. I would take either
okay?
dexterity or cunning.
Let's take cunning.
I love the face that you're making. Only good
Okay.
things will have happened.
Oh yeah, for sure. I got one success and one.
Okay. So that's not great. But you didn't get no material successes in a one. You just got a one and a material success, which means no successes. And so, let's see here. You have some powers. You have potential powers that you could utilize. So all of our agents have tropes as well, and so they do have the ability to have interesting little powers that could assist them in some of their missions. So I will let you, sort of make sure you keep in mind that the sorry about this trademark is there. So if something were to go awry, you could potentially knock this person out with non-lethal damage if you wanted to.
Oh yeah.
So you're shadowing this person. We'll say it's just a regular guard, and they head out from the house and they're going into the garden space. And so I will let you, the player, know that you have located Area 2, which is the
Okay.
garden. So that is its own scene. So now there is this beautifully manicured English garden with hedges and very, very short grass. And, there's, all sorts of little tiny lights, places to give the perfect ambiance to an evening here in the Italian countryside. And try as you might to get close, you scuff a heel on one of these cobblestone pathways and you make an awful sound. The guard turns around. Huh?
Hello, fellow human.
He comes over closer. What are you? Are you all right? What are you doing out here?
I mean, I was just looking at the garden because it's so pretty. I think I messed up my shoe though.
So he's going to do the really dumb thing and look down at your shoe because
Perfect.
he's a henchman. That's what henchmen do. They do dumb things.
You know exactly where I'm going with this.
Of course.
Kick him in the face.
Okay. Fantastic. So are you going to use the sorry about this ability?
Oh, I kind of like rolling, but I mean, I may as well,
Oh, no,
right?
no, no. You will roll. That'll all be part of
Okay.
it. It's just what it does is once per story, you can make any attack, and no matter its normal lethality, declare it that is a non-lethal attack, meaning you don't want to kill this person. And when you do, that attack deals double damage.
Oh, it should probably be non-lethal.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, do I really want to knock him out though? Well, I don't have the charm. I like knocking people out. Yeah, let's kick him in the face, and I will do it. Yes, non-lethal damage then.
Fantastic. So you're gonna roll close combat, and you
Yes.
can roll dexterity for it. I mean, your dex and might are the same. They're still 2 dice, but you certainly have that. And if you want, you could totally utilize one of your quips to gather yourself some extra dice.
What do I say in this moment? How do you like your ribs?
Yes, absolutely. So for your quip, I will give you an extra additional die.
Okay. Let me do that. Okay, so 2 successes.
Okay. So you have a material success, which means if you wanted to, you could certainly apply one of them to stunts. So you could apply an additional point of damage. That's a simple, easy 1 point combat stunt. You could, let's see here.
I don't need a stunt to check his body for things, right?
No, you would not need it. But 2 damage is likely not going to knock him out, I don't believe. I'm going to make a stamina roll for him in a second.
Okay.
So that way we have a good idea of actually how much damage you have done. So you could blind him with a 1 point stunt in combat. You could, let's see here. If you had control of him, you could technically do a takedown. You don't have control because you haven't established a grapple yet. You could knock him down with 1 success. So you could basically kick him, do damage to him, and also knock him down.
Oh, the damage and knockdown sounds like good.
I love that for you.
Well, thank you.
So he does not soak any of the damage. And so you kick him really hard and you knock him over, which means he will be without his action until he can stand back up. So without completely degenerating into full-on combat, because I think it will slow things down, what I'd love to know is, what does Shirley plan to do next? What is like the next thing on her mind?
She's gonna try and play it off and punch him in the face.
Okay.
She's gonna be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so
Right.
to try and knock him out.
I love it. Make another close combat roll along with your dexterity, and then let me know how many successes you get.
Two successes and a 1.
Okay. Okay. One's only take away 10s at this point. So
Okay.
you punch him really hard, and he goes to sleep. He is knocked out.
It's fine. Shh. And then I take his badge and whatever gun he has.
Yeah, so they don't have badges. He has a rifle, like a submachine gun with like a holster, like not a holster, but like a belt that you could sling.
Oh yeah, definitely. On the inside of this really oversized dress, I
100%.
will definitely put that. Yeah. Does he have an earpiece I need to confiscate?
Yeah, he has an earpiece, and it looks like he has keys.
Perfect.
So
Groovy.
with the machine gun under the dress, we're pretty close to Dominion Tank Police, but that's okay. We'll get to it. But you acquire said items, and you are currently in the garden. Now I'm going to jump over really quickly to Penny and ask what Penny's up to.
Well, I'm trying to find the caves.
Okay. So you can certainly make me a. I guess, how would you go about? Let me not propose a skill roll. How would you go about attempting to find them?
Well, I would use my super duper adventurer skills.
Oh, yeah?
to locate. I might. I mean, I might try to smell out the dirt.
Okay.
Oh, I don't have any science, so
No.
there's no sciencing. I just like adventure. Um,
You could certainly make a sciences roll just without any science dice.
it's true. Um, well, there's got to be like a map or an office around here I
Mm-hmm.
can go and try to get into and take a look at.
Okay, like a "You Are Here" map.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
that. I like that.
yeah.
We'll
You
say
know they
that
do that.
you do find a an office that is near a stage. It's part of the outdoor space, but also butts right up against the house, and that there looks to be some sort of office attached to it.
I mean, is the door unlocked?
After careful investigation, it does not appear to be unlocked, but you could potentially use something like intellect and technology to pick that lock.
I like it. I like it.
And just for our audience, we are going to get ads in about 2 minutes. And so when we do, the agents and I will take a brief respite in which we will encourage you to take care of your biological form.
Did you say technology and
Yeah, technology and intellect.
intellect? And can I use equip?
Certainly. How would you like to equip?
I'm gonna look at it and be like, as I'm trying to figure out the lock, I'll be like, is that the best you've got?
Certainly. Thank you for your equip. Pick up an extra die or hold on to it in a bank.
All right, so nice dice. I got 4 successes.
That is fabulous. So only one success was necessary. So are there any specific stunts from the um, adventure or the adventure tree that you would like to look at?
Um,
I have one from
nope.
the
Oh, go ahead.
technology tree
That's
you
what I
could
was
look at.
looking at.
Yeah, you could potentially use override, finagle your way into a mainframe and circuit breakers or whatever tech, right?
Do I use so? Just a question
Mm-hmm.
about the stunts. Can you hold on to the stunts or
No,
no? You have to
use
use
it.
them at that
Yes,
time.
use it or lose it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So let's use override.
Okay. So you override this lock, and when you do, you get into this office space. In doing so, you find that there is a connective hatch, like built into the bottom floor, and you overcome that hatch, and you see that it leads a very long, like rung ladder that goes down into a space beneath.
Yeah, get on my headset. Breaker Niner. This is Agent Tration. I found the caves. I'm going in.
Fabulous. And so we are going to go to break on that note. So stay with us as the next portion will continue after we get back. Hello and welcome back to They Came From Classified on the Old Ways Twitch. We are playing a interpretive and impromptu story called Quantum Fire, which we are baking along the way, which is super fun. When last we sort of left our agents, a couple were at dinner. One had just knocked a guard out outside, and one had found a secret passageway, a hatch that led to an underground space. And so, what I want to do is shift back to Shirley after acquiring, a submachine gun, a set of keys, and other various things from the guard here. Where's your next stop? And also, are you doing anything with the body?
Yeah, I'm just gonna kick it under the bushes. And then I'd like to think that Penny's transmission of finding the caves came in and right as I was punching the guard, like, I'm so sorry. So all she hears from me back is,
Yeah. You hear a lot of grunts and heavy breathing. That's really basically what you get back from Shirley.
Okay. Okay, girlfriend.
oh, Tracian, the goose have some gold that opens doors. Keys. I got keys. Do you need them? Where you at?
I'm about to go down a hatch.
Ooh. Can I
Don't go.
join you?
You can.
Cool. Keep kicking the guard under the bush and then I run somewhere.
You run. There's a little bit of clatter as you move, but you are able to keep things together long enough to work your way back into or around that section of the house. And what you find is it appears that there's a building, like an outbuilding, that sits just beyond the main portion of the house. It looks like it's certainly built more recently than the rest of the house. There's an entertainment space that's not too terribly far, and so Shirley, you've also located the section 4 of our map today, which is the stage. And so there are microphones and speakers and a keyboard and like a drum set that's all been set up here, and there's white, plastic, or probably not plastic, probably white wooden chairs that have been set out for the same sort of look like a wedding, but there's going to be some sort of musical act, because of course there's got to be a musical act. It's not until Act 3. So the door to that building is slightly ajar, and I'm just imagining Penny's face, just slightly looking out.
I'm gonna be a creep and just go right up to the door slit.
Okay.
I jump back. Oh, Shirley.
Yeah, what's up? Radical, right? I hold up the keys.
It's tubular. Let's. What are those for?
Opening things.
Oh, far out.
Where's this
What
hatch?
is it? What does it open?
We'll find out as we go. I'm sure they're important somehow. Oh yeah, check out my butt. And I try to show her the outline. Seems useful too.
Yeah, there's definitely either this agent has grown a tail, or there is something extra underneath their dress.
Oh. Yes. Far out. All right, let's be careful you don't get that stuck on anything when we're going down the hatch. Yeah.
I
I
won't.
hike up my dress, like, and tuck it underneath my underwear,
Okay.
because I don't want to get caught when I'm climbing down the steps.
Yeah, certainly, you don't have to. I mean, don't rationalize it to me. It's
Yeah, I don't want to tear it either, because if we have to go back into the party, it would look really weird.
right. All right, so you hike things up and get things prepared and begin heading down the ladder. There are a couple of signs on the way down. These are general caution signs. They're in a couple different languages. One of them is English, and then the other is, you think, French? You're not real sure. But they're definitely talking about flammability as a problem. This isn't a dirt tunnel. This is a manufactured tunnel. So the walls here are concrete and they're painted and things look fairly professional. Just put it that way.
This is not very cave-like. I'm losing my interest very fast. I call over my communication. Honey, can you still hear us?
It's very hard to hear your friend. There's a lot of hiss and a white noise that's attached to it. I'll say that you're going to hear every third word unless your fellow agent makes a intellect and technology roll to try to clear up the transmission.
I believe in you, Penny.
Oh, you want me to make the intellect
I do.
roll?
And
Oh.
you're the one trying to send the transmission through all the snow. Shh.
All right, so I got 3.
Oh, fantastic. So not only does the line clear up, you hear Penny in stereo, even though you only have one earpiece in.
I, uh, toy with my earring a little bit, just a little tap that gives a little beep on Penny's earpiece to let her know that I can hear but can't talk right now.
All right, good. They still hear us.
Groovy.
So, and I'm below Shirley, so Shirley's newfound weapon is like poking me in the face as we're going. Shirley, get that thing out of my face.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I readjust.
It's tough. It's tough to readjust it. It doesn't really fit any one specific space. It sort of just goes either left or right. It's really not a problem you've ever encountered before.
And it doesn't bother me.
That's good. You eventually get to the ground level, and that's where things begin to get interesting for you, Penny. And that is the calm and sort of sterile concrete space gives way to rough-hewn walls, dirt, rock, and other exposed material. And it's at that point this tunnel goes forward into darkness. I wonder, as an adventurer, how are you going to see after the lighting here begins to fail?
There's not like a light switch.
There's not. There's not a light switch for this area.
Okay. Echolocation. We start screaming.
No.
Okay.
Maybe one of you have a lighter on you.
You know
After
what?
those signs.
I pull out from underneath my dress my second item. I don't know if they made these in the 70s, but you know those tire the air where you can air them up and it has a flashlight on the other end of it.
Yes, I don't know that they made the crank flashlights, but I'm certainly happy to suspend disbelief if that's the second item that you want, because it's your item pick.
Yeah.
Okay, then you have one. You have a combination air pump bottle opener, because of course it has to be it's 70s. There has to be a bottle opener and flashlight, and it cranks, and you really have to spin and sort of do this sort of circular hand motion over and over and over again to get it to light up.
Love it. Yeah.
Cheering her on. Go, Penny. Go. Go, Penny. Go.
Do you want to do this, Shirley?
No,
Okay.
but you're doing great. Okay.
Don't get smart with me.
I-
It's also one of my quips, but I'm just saying it.
You know what? Let's be civilized about this.
I'll
Never mind.
allow your non-dice roll quip to stand.
Okay. And eventually, a a soft light. It's not like 100,000 lumens like going on here. It's probably
I mean, this is a Division 8 device. It can be a pretty strong flashlight. It just has to be cranked a lot.
Mm,
So the
I get
light,
tired real easily.
right, right. No, that happens. So the light does reveal a couple different things. Actually, for your agent, for your adventure, you have a stamina 3. You don't really get tired at all, very much. You have above average, so you can do it.
Oh.
You can hang in there. The
Thank
light
goodness we-
reveals a passageway underground that you both have to sort of kneel to get through. And as you pick your way along through this tunnel, it eventually begins to open up where there are other lights, other sources, little pinpoint lights ahead. And you realize that you're in a dugout underground space. It's got catwalks. It's got roving guards. It's got little tiny instruments at different spaces. So there's definitely some sort of facility down here.
How big is Quickfire? Do we know?
How big is quantum fire?
Oh, that's what it. Quantum fire. Sorry.
It's okay. It does what it says in the tin. So how big is it? You actually don't know. You believe from the dossier, which you kind of sort of perused, that the sample that they have made is probably about the size of one of those bank teller, like vacuum seal capsules that you put in. You know, or like you put it in to send the payment through to the bank and it goes up through a vacuum chute. It's, maybe about this big. It's about this big around, give or take. So, yeah, probably for imperial sizes, it's probably about 12 to 14 inches long and it's about 4 or so inches wide, maybe 5 inches wide. So, that's about what you're looking for, give or take. So the two of you have found an underground base. What will you do with it?
How many guards are walking around we can see?
We'll say that you can actively see 3 guards. They're not all in the same area. They sort of do this roving patrol of the space. It's pretty large. And you can see that there are other mechanical portions down there. There's some type of, looks like there's some type of gas exchange down there.
Okay, over the communication device again. Honey, we have found the cave. Tap once if you understand me.
Rep.
Okay, they got the message, Charlie.
Cool.
Do we need them to come here, or can you and I handle this?
I mean, you handled that flashlight so well. I think we can handle 3 guards.
Charlie,
Yeah.
have you been smoking?
No, why?
Cowboy killers will get you.
So I'd love for the two of you to tell me how you're going to handle the guards.
Well,
Like a to-do list, just one by one.
so for those who've not played, they came from, and I have, but it's been a long time. How do the trademarks work?
How do trademarks work? That is an excellent question.
No,
Did you do some investigating?
I did do some investigating.
Yeah.
For directorial control.
Mm-hmm.
But when can you activate a trademark? Can it be each? Oh, says with the directorial control, you can alter the story directly.
Mm-hmm.
each extra success on a roll enhanced by your trade. Oh, you have to roll and then do your.
Yes.
You can use your trademark with that. Okay.
Yep.
Well, how close are those guards?
How close would you like to get to them? I would say that there are two that are on the upper catwalk, one to the left and one to the right. And there is one down in what looks like a gas or fuel processing change. Ooh, there's a hydrate. Drink and be merry. Thank you for the hydrate. Super important.
So we're sort of like in the middle, is what you're saying, because there's one below and then two above. Okay.
Yep.
We're sandwiched, Penny. Is our goal, Penny? Is our goal to find the boom thing? Is like I'm trying to figure out. Do we? I need leadership. I need guidance in my life. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do.
Okay. Get a grip, Shirley.
Okay.
Thank you. You know, I really didn't read the dossier, so I'm not quite sure what we need to do other than make sure the quantum fire doesn't get into the bad guy's hands.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's finding it.
The colonel. I know Marion read the dossier for us out loud, so but
It glazed over.
some days,
Yeah.
you know.
I love the idea
fun.
that Marion read the entire dossier out loud to people, and people were just sort of like staring off into the expense where people were like having a cigarette break, or they were like playing croquet or
She is
something.
fully confident
read-
that they all 100% understand the objective and all of the details and know 1000% exactly what they're supposed to do. Total faith in these two.
Good.
She started reading it while we were parachuting down.
Yes.
100%, just to make sure you have it, right? Like mid parachute, she's holding the first page. She's like, okay, so quantum fire is bad and fire and quantum, and it goes kablooey. Remember that, honey. Okay, and then
I can imagine too. I know this might be a bad time, but we need to go over these meeting notes.
exactly.
Okay, so we
okay.
gotta get the quantum fire and get it out of here, and then I think Marianne or Director Woodbridge said something about a quantum universe. I'm not quite sure what that. I'm not quite sure what that entails, but you know, whatever. We got this. You and I, we got this.
Fabulous. So how do you got this?
Oh, we're still there.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Shirley, do you have a preference about which people you want to take down? Because I'll take the other one or two. You want to go high or low? Do you want to
All right.
flip a coin?
I-
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. We're going to rock,
Okay.
paper, scissors it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoever wins goes low. Is that the?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's
Got
do
it. Okay. Ready? Rock, paper,
Scissors. Oh, I win. I'm going low.
Okay. Got it. I'll go high.
I love it. Okay. So because you initiated the rock, paper, scissors, I think it's clear to me, Penny, that you're going to go after your guard first. So how would you like to approach this challenge? You have a lot of potential ways to deal with them. How would you, the adventurer, like to deal with it?
Well, I would like to incapacitate them and make them go night night.
I love that for you.
I don't really want to kill them, but I'd like to use my trademark, invoke my trademark of close combat. I know kung fu.
Dun dun dun. I don't have the sound, sorry, but I'll just beg Bunny to do the sound.
Can you do the sound, Bunny?
I forget how it goes. It's like the kung fu fighting one.
No, the dun 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 sound.
The one
Dun,
that's
dun,
like
dun.
Yes.
I don't know how to do that with a trumpet.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, like
That was great.
I love it.
that's my face. I don't have a trumpet. My mother was a trumpet. She still is a trumpet, and like a really nice lady. But I'm just part trumpet.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much. And now with the music accompaniment.
You're very welcome, I think.
I love it. You can totally use the trademark. And so skill rolls in the trademark is what's going to allow you to potentially get directorial control. So go ahead and make that skill roll. It'd be close combat and dexterity.
I only got a 1 success.
Okay. So
That
can't take directorial control without additional successes, but you do
Nope.
succeed. And we will make a simple roll for this mook. And you go in and, with your knowledge of kung fu, clearly karate chop them. And when in doing so, you push them forward and they fall over a railing, making a terrible sound on the way down.
And I sing, everybody was kung fu fighting. Oh,
Okay. Now that that's been said, Shirley, I'm certain you have a plan. Shirley.
Oh, surely I do.
Hmm.
Both my devices are taken up already, correct? I have the earpiece. I assume the grenade probably counted as one, unless I found it in
If you
bushes.
actually want to have had a grenade, then yes. I will say you have grenades. We don't know where they were kept. We're just going to leave that between you and the character sheet, but you have them. So
Okay. That is perfectly fine, because I have totally another idea. Is there another way up that I can tell from where I am?
oh yeah, you can certainly use the outside of the catwalk railing to leap from one floor to the other to get to this guard.
Okay. Can I do that without being heard or seen?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I think it's a fantastic idea. So you could certainly utilize like cunning and close combat to close the distance while being quiet.
Okay.
And if you so chose, you could. I'd even let you use your trademark cat-like reflexes for this
Oh, shucks. Thank
because
you.
that seems to be fun. Um, and let me know if you get more than one success.
I'm going to kill this character. I got no successes and a 1.
Okay, so here's something fantastic that happens. So at the beginning of the game, the players had a pool of 4 rewrites. So much like a movie, they can issue rewrites because the way this is sort of played is like they're kind of actors in a movie really playing these roles. And so you're going to get 2 additional rewrites because you have had a failure. So you could, through rewrites, then you could change the story if you'd like to spend rewrites to do so.
I mean, that sounds like something that would be beneficial for me to do. Let's try this out, shall we?
Right. Let me see here. I'm going to look really quick at the rewrite section because there's likely an entire section of it. Okay, fantastic. Cinematic rewrites. So I think I Never Miss totally applies. So the I Never Miss rewrites costs you 1 rewrite, and it turns a miss into a hit.
Okay.
Yep.
I was between that and not just a pen for some reason, thinking that maybe she, instead of trying to climb up, she would use a blow dart that would knock the guard out.
I like that idea. You could totally do that. That's also a 1-point rewrite, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you want to
So
do
that
that?
leaves. Yeah, I would love to try.
Okay, so we'll totally wind back the clock. You'll have never gone up to the upper level, and you won't have horribly missed some sort of karate chop, and you'll be back down, and you'll hear action, and then you'll, well, blow them.
Yes. What do I roll to blow?
It's a great question. I
No
suppose
aim.
it depends on yes, aim certainly. Aim would be good. I would take let me be really careful here. I would take cunning, or I would take in sort of a laughable way stamina.
I knew it. Gosh, I love you. Yes. Trademarks also. I have trademark aim. What does that do for me, if anything?
So do you prefer the 9 millimeter or the 9 iron? That's just a way to get directorial control with additional successes.
Gotcha. Okay. So I have to succeed first. And I think you already went over
Yes.
that, but I wanted.
Yes.
Okay.
Succeeding is important here.
Yes. All right. Let's see. I'll do 4 on here and then 3 on here. Ba, 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 ba. And then, ooh, let me mute. All right. 5, 6, 7 successes.
Oh boy. Okay, so that is a truckload of successes. So let's look at just really quick stunts. This is a combat stunt.
Okay.
You could spend them. So you have the material success to hit, which means the blowgun you're using, you certainly hit with it. It's normally going to do 1 point of damage. We'll say that it does a form of damage which is non-lethal. It's basically like a knockout.
Okay.
And so you have 6 additional ways of inflicting damage. So you could increase the damage. You could blind them. You could potentially disarm them, depending on what you wanted to spend. The world is your at 7 successes. The world is your oyster. So like, you tell me what you want to have happen,
Sure.
or you can just tell the audience.
Sure. I mean, I'm kind of hoping to just knock them out where they just get so tired they just fall asleep right there on the railing.
Done.
Cool.
Yeah. So the blowgun hits them. The dart hits them, and within a moment they collapse onto the upper catwalk and pass out. And they don't even really look. There's no way this would pass, like, the Motion Picture Association by any means. Like, this is probably a bad take, but you're gonna take it anyway.
What can I say? I'm a spy.
Indeed, you are. I'm going to flash back into the dinner party. So the main course has come, and for you, for both you, for both Honey and for Marion, you have either been able to genuflect long enough to not eat, or feel like you've gotten what you needed for food. Gerhardt has slowed down eating. He seems to have finally been sated. He is now drinking sherry and talking at just probably the worst possible volume, not towards you, away from you. So that's helpful. But he's having a very good time. Most of the people in here are. I say most because the situation between the Colonel and Mr. Weatherspoon has gotten a little bit into a standoff. And it's at this point in the dinner that Weatherspoon stands up and he puts, like, sort of throws his napkin on the table and he says, "Colonel, I'm tired of the bluster. If I'm going to bid on something, I need to know it works. You need to show me that it works. No more pomp, no more circumstance. Let's get to it." Gasps and whatnot go around the table. And the Colonel, for his part, looks up at Mr. Weatherspoon and says, "I'm happy to do exactly that. But first, entertainment. Won't you?" He sort of extends his hand towards a pair of double doors that open by members of staff, and you see that there is a garden area just outside the hall here. And there is a stage that's been set up, and you begin to hear funky and cool music being piped in as a series of performers have taken the stage. And at that point, the Colonel gets up and walks outside.
Sounds far out. I think we should follow. She'll say to Gerhardt.
Oh, of course.
Can bring food to go, probably.
You see that he's like basically taken like a chicken leg and he's wrapped it in a napkin and stuffed it in his pocket. And then he courteously pulls your chair out, should you allow him.
Why, thank you.
And then the group, most of the dinner party heads outside into this space where there's this sort of jamming bass groove that's going on. And people begin to get involved with the bar and with the seats, and there's some people dancing now and having a good time. And of course, there's, the Colonel and some of the other more affluent guests are choosing to look cool where they stand rather than, involve themselves in the party. I wonder if either of our agents that are present for this scene are doing any other investigative work while they're here.
I see Marion involved with Gerhard, and well, at least walking around with him. So she seems to be doing all right over there. Um, I want to. Where's Eric?
He's not too terribly far from the Colonel. They seem to be
Mhm.
continuing to have like tit for tat sort of conversation.
Mm.
Um, the Colonel is trying to play off the evening as something for dignified elite, and that
Mhm.
Eric is a little too busy, worried about doing business all the time. And you get a lot of, tisk tisks from the Colonel. Where are your manners? That sort of thing. And Eric says something that is laughable, yet you've seen played out so many times before, which is there are no manners where business is concerned, not for real
Mhm.
businessmen.
Mhm. So I want to make things a little more interesting and
Mm-hmm.
see what happens. I'd like to use one of my tropes,
Mm-hmm.
which is the spark.
Oh,
So I can press all the right buttons at the perfect time and spark an argument between two characters,
okay.
and make things a lot more heated, essentially. So I'm going to like strike up a conversation with someone nearby, so my voice carries, and I'm making subtle comments about things I've heard about. I've heard the Colonel saying about Americans, and hinting that he might have said something about Eric in particular, but not saying Eric's name. Just hinting in such a way that it comes across that he's probably said those things about Eric, and just like having this conversation nearby loud enough for them to hear it, and try and push some of those buttons.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. So if you're going to do the spark action,
Mm-hmm.
it says roll any skill or attribute the director deems appropriate to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that this is likely a. It depends. If
Okay.
you're having direct conversation and you're trying to impress specifically, I might let you roll presence persuasion for it, but I think it's more manipulation persuasion,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because you're really trying to change events. And so for every success, the argument escalates into a threat, a fight, a brawl, and then a catastrophic ending,
That is
respectively.
perfect ending.
So you
Uh,
tell the audience how
mhm.
how well you do.
Okay, so um, do I get any additional dice for using the trope, or is that just an
The
action?
trope is like a power that you're
Okay.
enacting. So you could, if you wanted to, um, if you wanted to be, if you wanted to quip about it, you could start the
Mhm.
conversation with, "I have a surprise for you."
Mhm. Yeah, so I start that off with leaning into the person I'm talking to, like uh, getting their attention with my presence. It's like, I have a surprise for you. I've got some information you may find interesting.
Well, you certainly
Mm.
gather their ear. So,
Hmm.
what's the how caustic you can make this cinematic.
This fight.
Hmm.
Okay. So that gets me one additional.
It does.
Okay. That gives me 7 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4. No
Okay.
ones.
No ones. That is good. So based on that, the conversation begins to switch back and forth between the people here fairly quickly. It begins to get in and around the crowd. So much so that you watch Eric begin to sort of break off his conversation between the colonel that he and the colonel that they're having, where he's hearing some of this, and you see him suddenly react to what they're saying, and he begins to get into a pretty heated argument with 3 or 4 different people about what's been said, about what he's said, about um, the things he's done for not only America but America's interests, and that he doesn't know what nasty and unfounded rumors that they've heard or who's starting him, but it's clear to everyone that knows him that he's among the elite of elite when it comes to his practices, and he's willing to stand by on his name and ensure that he's going to win the bid for this. And so he turns all that caustic energy back to the colonel. And during this wonderful, almost enjoyable musical number, y'all are working, but you can still enjoy yourself a little bit. He comes up to the colonel and he puts 2 fingers right on his chest and says, "I'm done playing games with you. Either you show me this quantum fire, or I will buy this castle before you leave and kick you out." And it's that point, the henchmen that are around the colonel sees Weatherspoon. I think they physically grab him. And the colonel says in a sort of with a flourish, he adjusts his sunglasses again, of course at night, because that's when you wear sunglasses. And he says, "Get this man out of my sight. Take him downstairs. We'll deal with him later." And that is sort of interesting, especially to you, Agent Marion, because someone has said that there's a downstairs.
Mm-hmm. That is interesting.
Very interesting. So you get Eric Weatherspoon frog marched basically out of the party, and they take him around the corner of the garden, down some steps that lead into an obscured space. You can't see it because of the hedges. And the colonel takes out a big
Hmm.
cigar and starts puffing away at it.
That was very satisfying.
Certainly changed the tone of the party a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The moon lightens after Eric's gone.
So I glance over at Marion and then glance in the direction that they marched Eric off in.
Mm-hmm.
Because Marion doesn't have an earpiece, so
Nope.
She will sigh and go sneak off in that direction.
Okay. So sneaking off in that direction. You staying at the party then, honey?
I'm thinking I should keep an eye on the colonel.
Okay.
And just in case the others don't get to the quantum fire before it's brought out for auction, someone needs to be up here.
Sure. So, Marion, if you would like to make that, if you'd like to be a little discreet about your following, I'm happy to give you a cunning and larceny roll.
That sounds like a good idea to me. I would love to be cunning and larcenous. I have 2.
Okay. That'll cover both of the henchmen that are carrying Eric away. when you make the turn around this first corner, you hear a very swift, like, grunt. It's coming from up ahead. Um, as you follow the path, the stone path around and then down a few stairs, you realize that the guards have incapacitated Eric. He looks unconscious. And they're dragging him down into this cave that has traditional, like, steps that go to it eventually that give way to these stone, sort of flagstone spaces. Um, and you hear the rush of water, and the temperature goes up a little bit, like the humidity in the air goes up as you get closer. If you stay on that path, what you'll uncover is one of the last locations, and that is the grotto. So this space looks like essentially a big hot tub, like a really big hot tub. It's a natural one though, so this looks like some sort of natural spring that's down here, and the water is warm enough that you can feel the temperature difference from the air around you. But there's a pathway also that leads deeper and deeper in. It's very sparsely lit, but you could potentially follow it if you want to. You don't see the henchman or Eric at this point.
I mean, she's curious to see where that path goes, but she also is curious what they're doing with Eric. I mean, she's wondering if they're going to use him as the test case or not, and maybe she should rescue this guy and consider rescuing this guy. Maybe she's not that motivated on it, but like, really not that motivated on it.
Okay. So
She'll try to figure out where the guards have gone first, I guess.
that's fair. That's fair. So we'll hold the roll that you made. You'll continue the pathway because there's no other place for them to have gone with Eric except this way.
Oh, well, then that works out quite well.
You travel about 15 or 20 meters, and the cave and this grotto area slowly begin to descend. It descends at somewhat of a steep angle for a moment, and then the pathway gives way to what feels like poured concrete, and you see a door, a hatch up ahead that opens left to right, and these two burly henchmen sort of drag Eric inside. And then overhead, there's a sign on it that says caution testing area.
All of my dreams are coming true. But should we save this guy? Probably should. Maybe. I'm hearing some strong no's in my like consciousnessometer.
I think that's
My
reasonable.
conscience is probably the word for that.
Up at the party,
Consciousnessometer.
Honey is shaking her head violently without knowing why.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I'm happy to.
Well, that feels promising.
Happy
I
to-
think she'll keep poking around the testing area, because if the testing area is here, storage can't be too far away. But you might take a little bit of time to case the joint here, and try to potentially figure out what the security situation is.
Okay. So you could use either
Use my trope.
intellect or nimbus, or you could use a trope, certainly, case the joint. So
Yeah, well, let's use the trope.
yeah, why not? It's a trope. Tropes are fun. So with case the joint, you're aware of your surroundings at all times. You easily case hotel lobbies, casino floors, and other locations within moments of entry. So once per story, you gain knowledge pertaining to any secret passages, camouflage security cameras, and most probable routes for escape in the surrounding area. All right, so I get to info dump on you, which is fun.
Well,
So the grotto.
feed me the info. Feed me the info.
The grotto is there's a couple things that you reveal. One, it's a space that's used for all sorts of things. This is likely a special relaxation space for guests of the castle. But beyond that, it also doubles as the entrance to a super secretive underground testing location. You know that to be true because of some of the evidence that's around, namely some paperwork that has been left in an area unattended. And it shows some of the results of this quantum fire experiments. And it seems that a mere 5 gram sample of it can burn with the heat of like a surface to air missile. It is exceedingly reactive as well. And it looks like they have been testing it for release and sale to world governments that would like to use it as a weapon. But funny enough, you actually find out that if the tests are true, it could be used as a new source of energy and heat for other potential uses, which means it has a totally safe and non-combative use. It's just, of course, it's being weaponized.
Brandish her fist at the concept of claw in this case,
Yes.
corrupting this amazing technological marvel and all of this amazing technological paperwork. Reads.
Beyond that, there are some secret exits from this space. There is a maintenance hatch that is not too far from the main hatch, which could give you covert entry into the facility beneath. It's supposed to be for exhaust, but you could certainly go in the outdoor if that's what your choice was.
Okay, awesome.
And that's what you find. That is a fantastic ability use. Okay. Back down in the facility with Penny and Shirley. You have managed to subdue 2 of the 3 guards, and I'm wondering if the 2 of you are going to perhaps meet in the middle, or if you're going to attempt to get around that 3rd guard without having to fight at all.
Gotta fight, right?
Yeah, I do the to Shirley. And
Gotcha. This time I try to successfully athletics my way up.
I love that for you.
Oh no.
All right, so give me a you can go ahead and give me a dexterity athletics. Lord knows you have rewrites if you need them.
Thank you. I got 1 success.
Fabulous. That's all you need. So you land on that level quiet enough that you can probably close distance and take care of that guard. I'm going to roll an opposed perception roll to see if he's noticed you. And I have 1 success. So he turns. And as he turns, he brings up his submachine gun. And he is going to roll 1d10 with you to see which one of us gets the highest.
Okay. Oh shoot, which one's loving me tonight? I'll try the purple. That's an 8.
We tie. So ties in this case are going to go to you as the player. And just as he's about to pull the trigger, you get to act.
Okay. I say, hello, goodbye, and then I punch him. Is that cool?
That's great. So for you to punch, it's close combat and close combat and might or dexterity, depending on what you want to use.
Okay. Let's try might. I want to just knock him out. All right, I feel old. 2, 3, 4 successes.
Oh wow. Okay. So you have 1 success with 3 stunts. How would you like to apply your extra dice?
Just knock him out, I guess.
Like just apply it as damage. Okay. Yeah, you give him a vicious left hook, and he tumbles over the railing. You get to watch this show from down below, Penny, and this space seems to be clear. Now you just have to figure out where it goes.
Yeah, did you say the guy that was in the lower level was with some like machine?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's at what looks like some sort of refinery, some sort of purification unit. It's a big sort of bulbous piece of stainless steel machinery. It's got buttons and knobs on it and a screen with a readout.
Oh. So can I turn it off?
You can certainly try.
Well, I would like to try. And I'm going to use my trademark, technology, talented amateur, you say.
I love that.
So I'll use intellect technology.
Go right ahead.
Buddy duddy. I get one success.
One success is all you need. You begin shutting down this system. You're not really sure what it does. It looks like it's doing some sort of collection and refinement. There's some signs here. They're in Russian. You don't read Russian, so you don't really know what they say. But you've managed to power this thing down.
Is there any door underneath that I can pull off so I can pull the wires out too? I mean,
Oh,
we're
you
gonna.
want to break the machine? Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
You can certainly spend your time breaking it. So back up at the party, because it would be important for you, honey. You hear the radio, like a standard band radio, go off, and you hear someone say, "Colonel, we have an issue in the processing unit. We've lost power." And the colonel grabs the radio at his hip and says, "I'll be right there." And you watch him hustle off down towards the space where they took Eric Weatherspoon.
Okay, I'm gonna follow him then because it seems like all the action's going on down below. And so uh, it sounds like they're probably containing the problem, or at least attempting to, before it gets to the auction. So I should go help them out.
Fabulous. I'm going to ask you to make me a cunning and larceny roll.
Oh no.
So
I have 4 dice for that.
cool.
No, not cool, Mike.
It's cool. It's great. I love it.
No ones, but no successes.
Okay. So there are 5 rewrites on the table.
Yep, I'm looking through them at the moment.
Not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take them with you. So if this part of the script doesn't work for you, then let's figure out how it does.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think maybe um so absurd it might just work. Where I do something kind of barely plausible to defeat a problem.
I like that.
Uh
I would also
so I
accept just looking
uh
for the bathroom.
there's also that.
But either
But
way,
I think so absurd it just might work is kind of fun, like kind of Pink Panther music playing in the background
oh
as
yeah,
I'm just like turning sideways to fit into crevices, crouching down and pulling the side of my tux jacket up so that the darkness in in the room covers me, and just like all these like moving from piece to piece to piece and just randomly finding rocks and things that will cover me barely, but
I
um
love the idea of you taking your dress shoes off and doing the like walking with your toes portion.
mhm.
I like that too. think that'd be super fun.
Going flat against the cave wall at some point.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's spend the rewrites. So that is 2 rewrites. So you're down from 5 to now 3. 3 rewrites left. Okay. So you somehow, some way, perhaps through absurdity, you find a way to get all the way down to the grotto level. You follow the colonel slowly, and he gets some distance on you, but you eventually um, see him walk towards a large, what looks like an airlock or some sort of hatch door that you might see in a heavy industrial facility. I would like our detective to make me another cunning and larceny roll because the big bad boss is walking directly towards your space.
Yeah, I would love not to be immediately caught. She was looking for a place to hide, like a side room or something. And she has 2 successes and an 8 and a 9.
Okay. You do find a place to hide, although it is slightly more damp than you were hoping for. Realistically, the only place for you to hide would be in the whirlpool, like in the grotto pool. There really isn't a side room other than, like, say, the ventilation shaft. So your choices are either in the water or trying to get in the ventilation shaft or that exhaust space to hide there.
I mean, the water's probably a little bit better than the ventilation shaft for the testing chamber where they're probably about to burn someone.
Maybe. So
But maybe, yeah.
you are very carefully in the water with your head tucked under, just being able to breathe when you hear the
Full
heavy.
straw for air.
Oh yeah, totally. Made out of bamboo, natural bamboo, of course. And the big bad walks right past you. Doesn't seem to notice you at all. And then
Sweet.
a minute or so later, someone walks by in a tuxedo.
Link.
Psst, psst. Down here. It's talking through the straw. Psst.
You hear that?
Look down.
Poker face up. I had to find a space to hide. How's it going up there?
He's going that way.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was hiding.
We need to go after him.
Well, of course. They put that idiot into the testing chamber and they're probably going to burn him alive.
How delightful.
Maybe. It's a bit grisly, isn't it?
Oh, I can think of worse things for people like him.
I suppose that's probably true. Yeah. Well, shall we? Pull herself out. You slide across the floor. Wiggle kind of like a wet dog.
Yeah, you wiggle like a wet dog. And how would the two of you like to potentially get into the space? Would you like to go through the main door, or test the space inside the exhaust chamber?
Marion?
I mean, I'm happy with either of them.
I'm thinking about your
The door
just
could
getting
be more
caught on things.
fun.
Mm-hmm. Think maybe the
But
door?
at a moment. Okay, I've got a terrible plan, but it
love your
requires a
terrible
scene
plans,
change
darling.
to activate.
I love your terrible plans, darling. Go for it.
I think that the plan here would be to use Master of Disguise.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever there's a camera cut, just mysteriously, perfectly disguised. And I think that she would disguise herself as the Colonel.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. You get your camera cut. It doesn't take terribly long. We take a couple of different looks at this door, and then all of a sudden you're wearing something totally different.
Just dry for no reason,
That's
like pulling the
correct.
clothes down. Completely matched.
Yep. Once per story, you're able to alter your appearance drastically to likeness to another person, including their clothing, vocal timbre, and
Wait, hang
physique.
on.
You have a Do you have a Russian general outfit you can drum up for
I've
us?
got a mustache.
Oh, perfect. Why not? I think that's smashing. Um, yeah, you turn around at one point, Honey, and the Colonel is standing next to you.
I'm going to
It's
assume it's
me.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
It's
Just
been
making
it's
sure.
been like 10 seconds.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they have some kind of teleportation device.
I certainly hope not. Comrades. Da and such.
I mean, I, Marion even has the glasses on. That's the thing. The dark sunglasses are the selling point for sure.
Hmm.
So we'll leave the two of you outside that door for just a moment. Back inside the facility after Penny has ripped apart the controls and powered down this machine. What are the two of you doing? Where are you going? Because it looks like the base is starting to get sort of alerted to your presence, or something is wrong. There's this sudden flash of yellow and then orange light flickers in this space, and you start hearing announcements on an overhead speaker.
I think we better make haste.
Far out. I I do one of those cool moves on the ladder, and I just slide down right next to Penny.
Bingo.
Is there a different way you want to go and explore really fast?
I was actually thinking about using a rewrite.
Hmm. Which rewrite?
Quick change
Okay.
takes one rewrite. We have 3 left right now, so we'd be
Mm-hmm.
down to 2. And I want to change into like one of the like guard outfits.
Done. Rewrite spent. You have a guard outfit on.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go up to the guard that Penny knocked out and then grab the handcuffs and the key to the handcuffs and put those on. So I'm her prisoner
Okay. Arms and wrists in front of you or behind
in
you?
front.
Okay. Very important to state. Okay.
I mean, I always
So
wanted to get you in handcuffs, Shirley.
now you've gotten it. Now you, Penny, can play Han Solo, and clearly Shirley is Chewbacca. And it's all legal because that movie takes place in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna walk your prisoner around, are you?
I am. Come
Okay.
on, you. You aren't supposed to be down here.
Ah,
You walk up some stairs, and you begin walking down a long corridor. And along the corridor walls, you see there are windows that show into like different cooling areas. And it looks like there's a lot of coolant tanks along the sides of the walls here. There are a couple of guards ahead at a far door, and you hear some more boots coming from the right. Looks like you're coming up upon a T or a crossroad here, a junction.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend like I belong there.
Okay.
keep
Marching
my eyes
this.
to the ground.
Yeah, marching this drunk woman back up to somewhere. I know
You
I work.
you try to play the part, and you come directly face to face with the colonel, who is standing in the hallway, and he says, "Who's this?"
And in my worst Soviet accent,
Do it, Morgan.
that I can
Give it to me.
probably muster. This is a drunk woman that doesn't belong here, Colonel.
It's really. He turns to you, Shirley, and eyes you up and down. It's
Great party.
yes. Normally, this space is off limits, but I'll make an exception for you. Uh, thank you for doing your job. He sort of nods to you, Penny. I'll take it from here. He reaches out and grabs the handcuffs.
Whoa.
Oh, Colonel, you are far too important to have to do this. Let me come with. Let me hold her for you. It would be my honor.
Oh, I want you to convince me of that, Agent.
I
So
love that turned into like a romantic Spanish accent at some point. I was expecting you to turn to Shirley and be like, no, no, no words. Just let me hold you.
I'd be like,
suddenly, in the middle of our 70s spy game, a telenovela breaks out, which is perfectly fine.
Antonio Banderas.
That's right. So let's say this is a empathy and presence roll for you, adventure.
okay. I'm just looking. What does Can I use my trademark? Nope. Can I use my trope all in? It's my enthusiastic demeanor comes across to others as aloof or downright naive. Perfect for hustling gamblers. Yada yada. Once per story, you can convince even the least prideful. That's probably he's really prideful.
Probably yes.
Never mind. Okay.
No, but
Moving on.
I like the thought train, right? So you're trying to get him to be just as passionate about what you're asking
Right.
for.
Yes.
Yeah.
That I am just I'm all in. I'm all claw all the time.
Okay. So what does the all in give you?
It says once per story, you can convince even the least prideful to throw all their literal or proverbial chips into the pot. So he'd be all in on me.
Oh, okay.
Money to come.
Okay. Let's. You know what? I don't think there's a role for it. You're using one of your abilities. Let's just play it as because it doesn't give you a dice system for it, right?
It doesn't. No.
Yeah. Oh, fuck it. We'll just play it as it lies. He just very slowly releases the chain between the two handcuffs for you, letting your hands sort of come back down to where they need to be, Shirley. And he regards you for a moment, Penny, and says, "It's dedication like yours that makes Claw the most powerful organization in the world."
I barf.
I thought that was funny too.
I absolutely love the peanut gallery laughing in the background. That was so fantastic. He says, he motions to the pathway he seemed to be going on and says, "Bring her with us. She can be another example along with this Weatherspoon."
Yes, Colonel, you are the light. I can't do this.
You can't do it.
I just can't. All right.
It's okay.
Yes, Colonel. You and your sunglasses
So
that you wear at night.
that's right. And in underground passageways, because it must be, maybe it's an eye condition. You're not sure. So outside this facility door, now that we have the disguise swapped detective and still the tuxedoed provocateur, which method of entry are you using? Are you using the main door or are you using the exhaust door?
Main door, I think.
Yeah, but Marion's plan is definitely the main door because she's fully intending to go in here and she will not entirely explain this plan to Honey. Kick the door open and go, arrest that man. He's a Division 8 imposter.
Oh, I love
That's her
this.
plan.
I love this.
Will this work? No. Will she try it? Also, yes.
Okay. So you open the door, and the two guards who are inside the door look at you, a little puzzled. They salute.
I see you're puzzled. Have I already come this way?
Yes, Colonel. Just a few moments ago, I wasn't aware that
There
there
is
was.
an imposter. We must arrest that man.
Okay.
A devious vixen disguised as myself, one of those Division 8 scoundrels and cowards.
That is 100%.
Arrest him immediately, or you will bring shame to Claw.
They get ready, but before they do, they need to know how convincing you are. Actually, the audience needs to know how convincing you are.
Yeah. She also needs to know. She's not the social one here, but she brought the social one with her who can maybe help.
That's right. Maybe. So that is
We
definitely
might need
persuasion.
it.
That is persuasion manipulation.
Which I sure have a little bit of. Am I being cunning?
Well, you could choose. You could use persuasion and cunning. I think that would be a fair roll. You also have a trademark
Okay.
under persuasion, though. So you could potentially use a trademark.
Oh,
in that
that's
regard.
true.
But it would put you at a lesser dice pool. So that is something that I will 100% let you choose.
Let's just do the dice roll. See how it goes. They'll land where they'll land. They will land on 2.
Okay.
I have a 10 and no ones.
Oh, so yeah, 10 no 1. So that is definitely 2 successes. They snap to attention and begin, sort of pull up their machine guns, and they start hustling down toward. He went this way. We have to stop him. He's going to try to get to the material.
That must be his objective. March, 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 march.
Lots of marching. Lots and lots of marching. So the rest of you would hear the boots behind you as you proceed into this space, which is a large globe-like room, and which in the center of it there is a tube that extends from the ceiling to the floor. In the middle of said tube there is a canister that rests in the middle. All along the walls here in this globe-like room, there is a relief of the world. And on that relief, you see several different points of light for major cities around the world. And the colonel looks to the left where Eric Weatherspoon has been effectively chained to one of the walls in here. And he says, Mr. Weatherspoon, it's so wonderful to see you. I hope you are prepared for what you asked for. A test. He looks at you, Penny, and says, put her on that wall. She'll go next.
Yes, Colonel.
The door closes behind you. Weatherspoon, in frustration, moves against his bindings but is unable to break them. His voice sort of carries throughout the room, and some of you, even outside the room, can hear the faintest of voice say, "You can't do this to me. I'm rich." And the colonel goes over to a panel on the left side, the right side of the wall, and says, "Oh, I assure you, Mr. Weatherspoon, your money will not save you this time." He starts pushing buttons. And you hear a bunch of whirring going on, like in and around the room. And in the center of the room, a small window opens in this tube where the canister is at. And inside that canister, there's almost a gauge that goes from the top of it to the bottom. There's this red gauge, and it lowers just a little, just a little. And then there is this fantastic powering up sound, and it takes over the space for a second, super high pitched. It pops everybody's ears that's in there. And from atop the tube, the tiniest amount of light comes out, and then it connects with the top of Eric Weatherspoon's head. And when it does, his entire skull bursts into flames. And he is this seething, roaring, melting mass within moments. He turns into slag before your eyes.
Shirley loosens her wrist a little bit.
And the Colonel laughs. You must have been joking. Oh. Well, when Claw has all of Weatherspoon's money, we'll have that much more strong foundation for our plans. He sort of stretches an arm out towards the globe. The next question will be, which city is next? It's at that point that the door behind this room opens again, and two guards enter, along with the Colonel. And
Arrest that man.
he turns. Who is that? The guard sort of...
Impostor, be gone from my sight.
The guard...
You brought shame to me and to Claw by pretending to be me with this shitty disguise. Pathetic Division 8 scum. Arrest this man.
Arrest me?
Well, you'll be a fine example.
Why don't we see who the imposter is? The Colonel takes off his glasses, and you see that his eyes are wholly and completely red. It's at this point that the two guards immediately snap to salute. And there's this hateful visage in the Colonel's face. You see, my men know me. I don't know who this is, but I suspect it's a Division 8 spy.
Can I trigger a rewrite
Yeah, certainly.
at this moment?
Love it. What do you got?
So the rewrite I want to trigger is convenient double agent. Transform someone into a hidden ally, where one of the guards is actually secretly one of our agents on the inside working for us.
Awesome. How many?
And when he realizes that this Colonel Marion isn't the real Colonel, it changes his perspective.
Okay. How many rewrites does it cost you?
It says 1+. I'm guessing the plus is for if you want to turn more.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds cool to me.
Okay.
So you are going to turn this convenient double agent. +1 rewrites. So one person is saying, yep. Named hench people and important civilians cost 2. The leader of the session's opposition costs 3. So you can certainly turn a single henchman with 1 rewrite. You have 2 left. I would not say that any of the people in here are important civilians. The only one that would have been considered would be Eric Weatherspoon, but he's dead. So yeah, you could turn both of those guards, but it would exhaust your rewrites.
What do we think, squad? I don't want to use up all our rewrites without asking.
I think we can
team.
handle them, and we might need them later still.
We are, for the benefit of those seeking to look at the clock, we are getting close to time.
Okay.
Oh, that's true.
Shall we go for both of them? Okay. So, and it turns out that neither of them knew that the other one was also working for Division 8.
Correct.
It's like the Spider-Man meme.
So the Colonel takes off his glasses in a show of absolute truth in who he is, and the guards do nothing except raise their machine guns at him. And one of them steps forward and says, Not this time, Colonel. We've been with Division 8 the whole time. You're under arrest.
Looks somewhat surprised.
Um,
Right, exactly according to my plans.
so it's at this point, though, that I'm going to have all of our agents roll initiative. Because the Colonel, of course, is not going to go out without a fight of some sort.
What does initiative look like?
That's a really great question. So what I'm going to do is scan this PDF really quick and determine what it is. Okay, so it is either athletics and cunning or empathy and dexterity. Ooh, interesting. I'm going to say that his is athletics and cunning because that he probably doesn't have a whole lot of empathy. And so it's a standard roll. So what you're looking for is you're looking for as many
Empathy
successes as
and
you
what?
get. Difficulty is 8.
No, empathy and.
Oh, empathy and dexterity.
Okay. It's going to be about the same either way.
Mm-hmm.
One success.
Okay.
Yeah, one success and a one. Does that do anything?
No, it's just one success in this case.
Okay.
One success.
Oh, also one success. I just typed it in the chat like a dork, and I never said anything out loud to confirm that.
That's okay. So the Colonel has 2 successes, and what he is going to do is lunge for a panel on the wall. And he is going to attempt to use cunning and technology to do something dastardly. Oh, God. Okay, so the Colonel botched. But he can't give you any rewrites, but I can make something wholly terrible happen at the same time because that sounds fun. He goes to fire the weapon at essentially that side of the room, realizing that his time is up and that the plan has been foiled, and so his attempt is to eliminate all the Division 8 agents in the room. But he doesn't do that. He misfires, and the weapon goes into a state of instability. And so I will give it a certain number of, we'll just say time frames before it is going to have a catastrophic event happen to it. Warning klaxons go off. Alarms begin to warble. You hear an overhead speaker tell people to flee the area, that the quantum fire is unstable. And so we'll just go into introduction order as everyone got one success. And so, Rina, what will Honey do in this case?
So, I want to declare, lunge forward and declare my second gadget,
Okay,
which is a pen that has a taser in it.
cool. I love that.
And I want to try and tase him.
Okay. So that sounds like a ton of fun. You have your second gadget now, and so that would be close combat, and it would likely either be cunning or dexterity.
And I say, it would be my pleasure, Colonel. I use one of my quips.
Gain an extra die.
Okay. That is 110. No ones.
Okay, so 2 successes. I will make a stamina roll for the Colonel. I will have you roll 2 dice for me.
Okay. 7 and a 9.
Okay. So you zap him. He has a physical reaction. He sort of shouts a little bit. Ah! His glasses sunglasses having tumbled away, and his red eyes seething with pain. And then, if memory serves correctly, it's going to be next initiative. So that'll be Morgan. So, Morgan, would you please tell me what Penny is up to?
Penny is going to get the quantum fire container.
Ooh, okay. being a little bit more than adventurous. So if you would like to disconnect this, that is going to be a intellect and technology roll for you.
And I'd also like to employ my technology talented amateur, you say trademark.
Cool.
If I get more than one freaking success.
Yes, that would be helpful.
I got one success.
Okay, so you can put a success against disarming it or collecting it. It will take a series of successes to finally do that, and hopefully you can get that done before the clock runs out, Agent.
Yeah.
And so we will move to Bunny and the detective, Marion.
Well, in her totally impervious, perfect disguise of the Colonel, she's going to pull up a stick of lipstick and yell the words grappling hook and fire it directly at his face like a weapon because it's a lipstick grappling hook and I'm so excited to use it.
Okay. I love that for you and for this scene because it makes complete sense. And so I'm going to say.
Does it?
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
All right, great. I'm glad that you have all of this faith in me.
That's going to be. I'm going to give you cunning and aim with that. Because I
That
think
sounds
that
good.
lipstick is definitely a cunning based.
That's what I was hoping for. This is the best roll I think I've ever had on this. Okay, so 5 dice, 8, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, wow.
That's 5. I should buy a stunt. What stunt can I buy with aim?
No, she wants to grocery shop. Ooh, what can I get?
Now I want a grocery shop.
Yep. Okay, so I would say that since it's a grappling hook, you could buy grapple stunts as well.
Sure, but I could do the daring aim stunt, which is the necessary destruction and destroy his sunglasses.
Oh, you could. Is that what you'd like to do?
I would like to do that, yeah.
Okay, certainly. I don't think that takes all of your points, does it?
No, I think I still have a couple left to do phase damage.
Okay, so a couple extra to face damage. So yeah, while you're shocking the Colonel, sort of jabbing him in the midsection with your with this electrical prod that you have, honey, a grappling hook comes out of nowhere and connects with the Colonel's face and shatters his the sunglasses that were sort of nearby, and also probably breaks his nose at the same time. So that's fantastic.
Marion does fully just yell grappling hook as loud as she can. And of course, because she's perfectly disguised, it's in his voice.
Grappling hook. Yes, I love that. All right. Pesto and the amazing Shirley.
Shirley is going to try and call the extraction transporter
Hey,
to
that's a
be on
great
standby.
idea. Yeah, probably going to need to get out of here. So you are going to use your access and the perhaps the organization contacts that you have in Division 8 to say, hey, we need to pick me up quick. So that's a fine action. Yep. So the Colonel on his action is going to attempt to grapple you, honey. And he says, if I'm going to die, you're coming with me.
It's what they all say, Colonel.
Yeah, well, he's fumbled, so that's not going to happen.
It's the second fumble.
It's really terrible. Well, I mean, it's 11962, so that's a fumble. So he attempts to grapple you, and then the studio's HR department comes in, and there's an issue. There's a discussion afterwards about like where the Colonel was trying to put his hands. There's like a 10-hour course that the Colonel has to go through for, harassment and those sorts of things, and his action just completely fails. I don't know what to tell you, except that it's your action now.
That was a little premature. and I'm going to tase him again because I've already got the taser connected and he's unable to grapple me at the moment. So
Yep.
I'm going to tase him again and try and knock him out this time.
All right, go for it.
Okay. All right. So, let's see. Okay, that is just one success this time.
Okay. So roll 2 dice for me.
3 and a 5.
All right. You shock him thoroughly, and he sort of slumps over a little bit. It doesn't look like he's completely unconscious, but he's certainly not doing well. Morgan, are you going to continue your attempt to disarm this firebomb that's going to go off?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay,
And I'm,
that's good. No pressure, but I'll just let you know that this is the last round you'll have to make this attempt before it goes off.
gosh, don't tell me that.
Oh, sorry. Okay, forget I said anything.
Don't. I stopped listening. Okay, I'm going to use the trademark technology talented amateur you say. Or at least I'm going to try again for the 50,000th time during this game to use a gosh darn trademark.
Do it.
Oh, and I'm also going to use a quip.
Quip for me.
I'm going to say, is that the best you've got? To the thing. So it gives me an extra dice.
It does.
Come on, trademark. I hate my life. I got one success, but I got 2 ones.
Oh man, that's tough. One success and 2 ones means that's a serious problem there. But it does on a Bosch give the team 2 rewrites, and so I will tell the team this, especially because the only 2 that are left that are going to act are Marion and Shirley before this thing goes off. You have 2 rewrites. Marion, you'll act first, and then Shirley, and then at the top of the round, quantum fire will arrive for everybody in the worst way possible. So certainly, Marion, what's the plan with your grapple lipstick having been deployed?
Didn't really plan this far ahead. So, what is the? I'm just taking a look at potential rewrites that are potentially useful here.
So absurd it might work.
I was just looking at so absurd it might work, but what is so absurd that it might work?
Exit strategy. Oh, sorry.
I mean,
Oh,
wait,
yeah,
do
that
we
one.
have a strategy? It's the first I've heard of it.
Yes, we do. We do.
When things
Yeah, amazing. I feel like what we should do is that one of us should spout some total nonsense techno babble that then another person explains with a simple metaphor, and then that will somehow be able to defuse the chemical because we're like scanning its composition or something. So between the two of us, we need to figure out a way to do this.
Oh yeah, I love that. I'm happy to do that. I'll just put you and Pesto in charge of explaining it to the audience and I.
Okay, great. Is Shirley the more scientifically minded one out of the two of us here? No, it's the detective. Okay. I mean, she was reading the papers. So I feel like what's a fun component to mix into an explosive thing that would disarm it that is available in the room?
Emergency shutdown that uses a key.
Could work too, but it's more fun if it's like hair gel or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ooh,
Colonel's
perfume.
sunglasses, broken sunglasses.
Yeah, but you'll have perfume we could take, honey.
Oh, that's true.
And then we get to be fancy and feminine and Charlie's Angels about it. So I think in that case, she's going to say, I read in the documentation the exact chemical component and formula. And if we mix in a little bit of a particularly nice scent of perfume, we could potentially disarm the substance, but we'd only have seconds to do it. She's throwing paperwork at Shirley.
Fragrance makes it go
And I
stop.
will fully use so absurd it might just work.
Fully, not halfway, all the way.
Yeah, 100%. There goes those rewrites. We'll see if it works.
I think it is just absurd enough to work. But the thing is that Shirley, you're going to have to douse this capsule in your favorite perfume. It will mean completely losing a scent that you've used on operations before, mostly as like for hunting cover, but it's certain to work. You just know it.
Anything for the mission.
That's right. So with your, we'll just say, expensive perfume in hand, you douse the canister. You also douse Penny's hands at the same time because she's furiously trying to disarm this thing. That perfume, although it might be perfume to some people, we would know it as deer musk. And so you coat the canister in this heavy deer musk. And what actually happens is the chemical compound breaks down this quantum material. It's really through the power of deers. You're not really sure how that happens, but you do trust Marion's read of the mission notes. And it's clear that Director Woodbridge had all of the necessary information in it. The chemical goes inert and the system shuts off.
No, I've
Groovy.
mocked you for your perfume choices before, Shirley, but never again.
I can't afford it again. You're damn right, never again.
I smell my hands.
Oh,
Oh.
I don't know if you've ever smelled deer musk, but
No.
pretty strong. Like, it's stronger than Drakkar. It's that strong.
Oh, yeah, Drakkar, I know that smell. Hello, 90s. Um, oh, trying to wipe it. I'm wiping it on Shirley. Just take some of that.
Thank you for your empathy. I appreciate it. It's been a tough day.
Indeed, it has. But our agents have managed to save the day. So Division 8 triumphs over Claw this evening. And so as we wrap this They Came From Classified session, I would love to go back through introduction order and let our agents reintroduce themselves, tell you, the audience, what they do, where they can be found, and give themselves some promo time here on stream.
I'm Rina. My pronouns are they, them. And you can find me primarily over on, well, the Old Ways podcast, surprise, surprise, where I'm the head of Mythos Horror. I will be running a new campaign in Trail of Cthulhu, coming out very soon. We just announced the awesome cast. I hope you all tune in for that. And I also just released a scenario collection with some fantastic other authors, including Heather from the Old Ways, with art done by James from the Old Ways, of 4 scenarios based on classic fairy tales, and it is called Cthulhu Once Upon a Time. You can find that over on Drive-Thru RPG. I will also be at Chaosium Con, so if you show up there, feel free to say hi, chat about scenarios, talk about horror, slashers, etc. I would love to see you.
Fabulous. And Morgan.
Hi, I'm Morgan, and I've been playing Penny Tracian this evening here on Twitch. I am an Old Ways podcast cast member. My pronouns are she, her. And yeah, I will also be at Chaosium Con as well. So if you're there, say hi. Yeah, I find me on the Discord, moseying about. And yeah, this is a good time.
Yes, come talk movies with Morgan.
Yep.
All right. And next in line is Bunny.
Hi, that's me. I'm Bunny, and Amelia, she and her, or they and them are great for me. I guess I'm a trans retro anime bunny girl villain VTuber. It's Trans Visibility Week, so I should be vaguely visible. I intended to have a little pride flag on my head this whole game, and I forgot to turn it on, so I'm turning it on now at this last moment. And you can find me at twitch.tv/bunnyhearted, or on occasion on this very Twitch stream.
Fabulous. Yes. And,
Thank you so much for having me. This is really fun.
Yeah, for sure. We were lucky enough to catch you during Visibility Week, the stream that you were doing. As part of the Old Ways we're able to catch and help out as best we can, which we enjoy doing. So thanks for being a part of that.
Oh, the Trans Lifeline charity stream. Yeah, absolutely. That went so well. Thank you so much for being there and for your support.
Yeah,
Always rad.
happy to all the time. Last but most certainly not least, Pesto.
Hi, I'm Pesto Mystic. I've been playing Surely You Did tonight, and this was such a blast. You can catch me sometimes over right here on the Old Ways Twitch channel, and very rarely on my own Twitch channel on Pesto Mystic. This was freaking awesome. Thank you all so much for including me.
Absolutely, we had a blast. We hope you did too, and we will catch you next time. So stay safe and take care of yourself and each other.